Definitely the multicolor 3D printer Creality K2 PLUS is already perfect. The truth is, I've had it for the last 4 months, but I didn't even take it out of its box because I was waiting for the most important thing. The firmware should improve. Because it is well known that when a new 3D printer is launched, a good percentage of the first units usually have a lot of failures, and the K2 Plus was no exception. But now that the K2 Plus has received several updates, everything has changed. This is the latest and most technological printer from Creality, and the first from the brand that prints in multicolor, and also, thanks to its large printing surface of 35 by 35 centimeters, it is one of the few that allows me to print complete helmets. I have had other 3D printers, but the K2 Plus is the queen of them all. Because so far, the printing experience has been super pleasant, without errors, without jams, and above all, fast. And look, I've printed a lot. Stay tuned for this video to see everything I did with it and how to assemble and configure it correctly. Let's watch the video! The new K2 Plus arrives in a large, heavy box. They sent me 2 boxes because the larger box contains the printer, and in this smaller box they sent me 4 rolls of Creality filament so I could start printing right away. With this printer, you're going to need help carrying this box because it weighs over 40 kilos, and that's because this is the combo version, meaning the printer plus the CFS system plus filament and the machine's accessories. The good thing is that the box is very manageable and very easy to remove, since you just have to take out these 8 locks from the bottom and then just pull up so that the box comes out smoothly. From here, you will realize the great quality of packaging that Creality does with its products: personalized cardboard cover, protective plastic, corner protection, lots of anti-shock foam. That is a very careful and detailed packaging. The machine comes with a lot of things, such as a complete installation guide, the machine's LCD display, a small toolbox, cables, a printing color palette, and other essential accessories for assembly. I also received more rolls of sealed filaments, and further inside comes the CFS unit that we will analyze later. The printer itself weighs 35 kilos, but right now it weighs a little more because it still has things inside, and believe me, you're going to need help lifting this machine. It arrives very well protected so it doesn't get scratched, and as I told you, the CFS unit comes inside secured with safety bars so it doesn't hit the inside. Note, the CFS unit doesn't come with all printers. This comes at a separate cost. It will only come with the printer if you choose the K2 Plus combo package, as the CFS alone is a complete machine. CFS stands for Creality Filament System, and it's what gives meaning to the multicolor feature of this new machine, as it stores the filaments of different colors and manages them automatically. To remove it from the inside, you have to remove the screws from these 2 security bars to remove them, and now the CFS is free to be able to remove it from the inside. In addition, more foam arrives to protect the inside of the machine, and 2 more rolls of sealed filaments, and after removing everything, you can now see the inside of this beautiful machine. Inside, the machine has 3 safety locks which must be removed. This is very important to start using it without damaging it. First, you must remove the 2 plastic bars that hold the axes together. Then you must remove the 4 screws from the base which hold the print bed to the bottom. And finally, you must remove this long sticker covering the fan intake. These locks are only in place for shipping, and they must be removed before you can start using the printer. The printer bed is textured or PEI type and black, and look at its tremendous size. It's 35 by 35 centimeters, and this is one of the things I like most because you can print very, very large objects. Also protected in this cardboard envelope comes a glass lid, so be careful when unpacking it. This is the top lid of the K2 Plus and allows the interior of the printer to be completely sealed. Taking the printer out of the box and removing the protections is only the first step. The next step is to install the accessories, which are only 3 for a quick start. The first is the LCD screen, which is a 4.3-inch color screen, and from where you can control the printer locally. The second accessory is the individual reel support. This is very important in case you have not purchased the CFS. With a single reel, you will not print in multicolor, but the prints will still be of great quality. Finally, you have to install the accessory which routes the 4 CFS filaments to the head and leave it like that until you install the CFS. Now just plug in the machine and turn it on. Setup is very simple and takes 4 steps. You just have to choose the language, confirm that you've removed the 4 screws from the bed, accept the privacy policy, and connect it to your Wi-Fi network, and that's pretty much it. Now, I see that the good thing about having waited a few months after its launch to buy the K2 Plus is that it gives Creality time to improve and update its firmware. And as you can see here, I got a new update which I quickly installed, and in this update, they already considered the calibration of the belt tension. Great! Finally, the machine will automatically prompt you to perform its first self-check calibration, and with the push of a button, it will be performed automatically. Be patient, as this check will take more than 15 minutes, as there are many sensors and subsystems that the machine must test and adjust before first use, such as head purging, self-leveling, belt tension, ventilation, body vibration, and much more. And don't panic, because during the vibration calibration, the K2 Plus sounds like a plane about to take off, but nothing happens. Once the self-test is complete, the K2 Plus is ready to print. The screen interface is very similar to the K1 Max, except for the multicolor options, which I'll discuss when I install CFS. For a quick test, I'll go to the folder icon and see that some print files are already loaded by default. I'll print the Benchy to make sure everything is correct. Obviously, since I only used one roll, the Benchy will come out in a single color. The Benchy is this typical little boat, which is nothing more than a test file for testing 3D printers. The K2 Plus printed it in just 13 minutes at half its maximum speed, or 300 millimeters per second. The result is very good. The details of the surfaces and overhangs are well defined, and the print lines, which are inevitable on a printer of this type, are also well hidden. The new K2 Plus makes very thin and perfect first layers, which allows the models to be built perfectly from the base. But what I have taken most advantage of is its large printing surface, 35 by 35 centimeters, since on this large surface, complete helmets can be made. Like this white helmet from Helmet, which took about 15 hours to print and used 300 grams of PLA filament, which is about 100 meters, and which turned out excellent. And after adding copper-colored eyes, it ended up with this beautiful look. A helmet like this can actually be made by this machine in 9 or 10 hours. But since the surface finish is textured and not smooth, it takes a few more hours to process the details of the surface irregularities. Furthermore, the printing experience has been spectacularly good with the K2 Plus. I haven't had any failures, the printer has never locked up, the CFS has always worked well. And even all the helmets I have printed, I have modeled them in Creality Print, which now in its 6.0 version works excellent from my point of view. Although I am a fan of Orca Slicer, I decided not to use it this time, to give the Creality Slicer a chance. And it has left me very satisfied. Just look at how beautiful this Spider-Punk 2099 helmet in blue turned out. These are textured helmets, therefore the printing lines are greatly concealed and the surface is almost perfect. Specifically, this blue helmet took 15 hours to print and consumed 325 grams of Creality Hyper PLA filament, or what is equal to about 110 meters of filament. After adding the other parts to the helmet, this beautiful collector's item was created. The CFS unit is the one that stores, manages and distributes the different filaments to give the multicolor functionality to the new K2 Plus. Each CFS unit has space for up to 4 filaments. It connects to the K2 Plus printer through 2 RS485 connections and integrates sensors, motors, bearings and electronic card that turn it into an independent machine in itself. At the bottom you can see the distribution of the 4 filament outputs towards a common output. This is the carton of Hyper PLA filaments they sent me, and I'll be using them to load the CFS. However, these new filaments for the K2 Plus have a special feature. The spool has an integrated RFID chip, which can be read by the CFS and thus show us some data, such as the color of the filament, its position in the CFS, and the amount of filament remaining on each roll. Once the spools are loaded into the CFS, this unit can weigh about 7 kilos. For this reason, I was a little afraid to put it on the top cover, which is made of glass. But as I've seen in other videos, it's made of very resistant tempered glass, so I'll put that on top as well. Now, using the other accessories that come with the machine, we must finish installing the CFS. First, we have to remove the individual reel and its Teflon tube. Then, using two other pieces of Teflon tube that come in the accessories, we have to connect them in this way. And finally, connect the short RS485 cable in the feeder and the long RS485 cable in the lower part of the K2 Plus, and that's it. Be careful! The CFS unit has a pair of internal racks where it stores desiccant bags. Before plugging in the machine, don't forget to remove the desiccant from its plastic bags. Otherwise, the desiccant won't do its job of absorbing moisture from the filaments. This is very important and I almost forgot. Now you can plug in your printer and it will automatically communicate with the CFS. All you have to do is insert the filaments one by one into the 4 input ports. The CFS sensors will recognize the filaments, pull them in, and then wind them in. The K2 Plus will automatically recognize all colors and their quantities. There's even a guide that explains how to load the filaments, how to interpret the status of the LEDs and the CFS, and how to edit filaments that don't have an RFID tag. Furthermore, after placing the CFS on the printer, the structure will now have a different shape and harmonic vibration frequency, so it's recommended to recalibrate completely. Just as there's a single color benchy, there's also a multicolor benchy, which is the one I'm going to print with to test the K2 Plus's multicolor printing. This is a multicolor printing by levels, therefore it is relatively fast. Since there are only 3 color changes, the result is a piece printed in the 4 colors, which contains the CFS, whose color changes are carried out automatically, and it must be taken into account that in each color change, the head must purge all the previous color, so that a mixture of 2 colors is not printed. This purge is known as the printer poop, and it is inevitable to do it because the 3D printer only has one head. I have modeled the multicolor designs in the Creality slicer, and the truth is I am very happy with its performance. I know that this slicer is not Creality's own work, since the brand has taken inspiration from the Prusa and Orca programs, and for me that is even better, since it is based on the experience of other more developed programs. While the K2 Plus is running, you can monitor all the printer parameters from your computer and even view the print in real time with the internal camera. This camera records and stores the time-lapse of each print, like the one you're seeing right now. This print took 12 hours and used 20 grams of filament. If you notice, although this little wolf is much smaller than the helmet, it took almost the same amount of time. This is due to all the color changes, where a lot of time is lost between cleaning and purging the print head. Yes, it's true, multicolor prints take longer, but the final result is quite acceptable. The interface between 2 colors is smooth and could even be mistaken as if it were painted. This is not a textured surface, but smooth, and that's why these print lines are noticeable on the top of the head, but nothing that sanding can't remove. Now, I'm going to print in multicolor, something much more challenging, which will be this Spider-Man hand pencil holder, and it's much more complicated because it has many more color changes. Exactly 683 color changes, which means a lot of poop, and that's the bad thing about multicolor printing. It's not efficient, but that's a topic which I'll talk about in detail in a future video. In Creality Print 6, you can comfortably work with any multicolor model, and if the model is in a single color, well, you can paint it your way with its painting tools. Additionally, the program's interface is very intuitive to use. It is in Spanish and is not very heavy. Although the time-lapse video makes it appear that the printing was fast, it was not at all like that, since this model took 23 hours to print and consumed 100 grams of filament. However, the disastrous thing is that it generated 200 grams of waste or poop, meaning it wasted twice as much as it used. Although this can be optimized, as I will explain shortly. But it's the compromise you have to make if you want to print a model completely in color without having to paint it later. And I have to admit that the final quality is spectacular. Under the letters, a little bit of black was painted over. I overdid it with some flow, but it's my first large-scale multicolor print, so that's something I'll refine over time. This is a very beautiful printed object, a collector's item, and could become a gift or an exclusive product for a true Spider-Man fan. I ran out of time to tell you more about this powerful K2 Plus printer, but I'm already preparing a couple of videos to explain the efficiency and optimization of multicolor printing and how much it costs to make large helmets like these. I hope you enjoyed this video, my friend, and it seems you did because you stayed until the end. So please honor me with your like and if you can, with your subscription. Help me and let's democratize technology. See you in the next video.